Well, hello and welcome to the Mind Blowing Happiness Circle. My name is Trish Aja Roberts, and this is our monthly time for meditation, for breath work, for some mindset guidance to help you through your personal healing journey and for the month ahead. So, we're always looking to the month ahead. This session is taking place a little later than normal because of the devastation that was brought about by Hurricane Helene, and I was in her path, so I wasn't able to meet last week. But we're meeting this week, and then we'll meet again at the end of October. It's actually Halloween, October 31st, so we're going to do something special on that day. But to go ahead and get started, I would just make sure you're comfortable. I have my matcha tea that I'm borderline addicted to. It's good for you, so I feel good about that. But whatever your favorite beverage is, get yourself someplace that feels good to you, that's comfortable. The sequence is going to start with meditation, and then we're going to go into breath work, and then the lesson from there. So let's start. Let's get grounded in the space with 3 cleansing breaths. So one of my favorite ways to do that is to rub palms together because that generates some heat, some energy. And if you know anything about laying hands or healing hands, we can lay hands on ourselves. So take the right hand and go ahead and put that on your heart. Take the left hand, put it on your belly. You might feel some tingling in the palms. So just take a moment and notice what you feel. And then see if you can notice the beating of your heart. Can you feel that in the palm of your hand? Imagine that your heart is in the palm of your hand. And then see if you can feel the rise and fall of your breath in your belly. So this is a good time to check in and see if you are breathing well, because when you breathe well, your belly should rise and fall just like a baby's. Sometimes for women, we have such a tendency to want to be snatched and have small waists that we don't breathe fully into our bellies. But you can do that now because you're not, at the club or at work or on the street looking cute. So you can breathe fully into your belly now. And we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths together. So breathe in through your nose, let the belly fill, and exhale with a sigh. And we'll just do that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. And the last time, inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. This time we'll hold the breath at the top a little longer, holding that oxygen in the body before releasing it. So hold it, and then let it go. All right, so we did a little check-in with yourself. So I'd like you to take one word for how you're feeling as you come into this space. And then I'd like you to take one word as your intention for the upcoming month, which is October, right? So if you find yourself with a phrase, see if you can bring it down to one word. And I've had a little time to think about this a bit, so I'm going to share mine first. And when you're ready, you can share yours in the chat. But I think my word for coming into this space, um, I'm actually in a different physical space. I'm in a rental house. I did some traveling yesterday, and I love this little house. So I think coming into this space, I'm feeling very, I think I'm going to say content, feeling very content in this space. And my word of intention for the month is focus. I want to be focused. Um, Coming into the fourth quarter, the end of the year, and then kicking off the new year, I really want to get focused in my business and my offerings to you and to everyone. Um, because if you follow me, you know that I had my younger sister passed away earlier in the year, and this year has just been not very focused all the time. So if you have two words that you want to share in the chat, I'd love to see it. One for how you were feeling and one for what your intention is. Okay, so I see open, and I'm guessing that that's how you're feeling now. If you want to share one word for, yes, I love it, motivated. I teased around with a few different words because motivated was one of them too. Um, but I settled on focus. So I love that. Open and motivated. Sounds good. So from here, we are going to go into our meditation time. And you might want to keep in mind um, that word of motivated as we get, matter of fact, I will write it down as we get into some of this meditation. So come to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. You know, if you are feeling a little off center and you want to maybe push your, usually if you're in a chair, usually pushing your butt back a little bit will make you sit a little bit straighter. And you do want the soles of your feet on the floor if they reach, hopefully. If your feet are bare, it may be a nice way to get some grounding, depending if you're on the first or the second floor of your home or some other floor in the home. But bare feet on the floor is would feel good or might feel good to you. And then for our eyes in meditation, you can close your eyes or you can have them with a soft gaze, maybe about 2 feet in front of you, unfocused gaze. Um, so whatever feels good. Sometimes people don't feel good closing their eyes. And for hand postures, generally speaking, um, let's look at three options, right? So you can do your palms facing up, which is typically considered very receptive, you know, energetically receptive. You've already felt the energy of those palms. So you can do palms up. You can do palms down on your thighs, which is a more grounding posture. You're actually connecting that energy from the palms with the thighs. Um, or you may like chin mudra. So this is another option. You've probably seen this before. And this would look like kind of this. And this is showing the thumb and the index finger is showing our desire to connect our human consciousness with our divine consciousness. And some people say it helps you keep from falling asleep in long meditations because your hands will start to fall apart. So choose a hand posture that feels good to you. And we're going to start by relaxing the body. So bring your awareness to the crown of your head and just imagine that that area is warm and relaxed. Then bring your awareness to your temples, your forehead, the back of your head, right at the top of the neck. And imagine a band going over that whole area. So across the forehead, the temples to the back of the head. And imagine that that whole band is warm and relaxed. Relax your eyes. You have a lot of muscles in the face. See if you can relax the jaws and the mouth. You might want to move it around a little bit and then release it, which I'm going to do right now. So, and then release. If your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, see if you can let it relax behind those lower teeth. Take the shoulders up to the ears and back. Relax the shoulders. Imagine a warm blanket is wrapped around the neck and shoulders and release that. Relax the upper arms, the chest. the belly. Relax the forearms and the hands. Relax your hips and your buttocks, your thighs, your calves, and your feet. And then just check in. Scan your body from head to toe. See if there's any place where you feel uncomfortable, you need to adjust. Make any adjustments you need. Breathe into any area of your body that needs breath. And then we're going to settle in. So bring your awareness to your breath. I don't want you to change the way that you're breathing. Just notice your breath, the sensation right at the tip of the nostrils. See if you can focus on that feeling to the exclusion of anything else. And if you find your mind wandering at all, just redirect it with love and compassion back to the breath. And see if you can notice the path of your breath. So you'll notice that the air comes in through your nostrils, passes the back of your throat, and then goes into the lungs. So see if you can follow that journey. And then on the exhalation, you'll notice the air comes from the lungs, back past the back of the throat, past those nostrils, and dissipates outside the body. You might notice the air is cooler on the inhalation, warmer on the exhalation. Just get curious here. And then on your next exhalation, I want you to imagine that you're exhaling thick, dark smoke, and with it, any worries, fears, burdens, concerns, any physical ailments, any mental busyness, any lack of focus, lack of enthusiasm, any sadness. Just watch that leave your body in the aspect of this thick, dark smoke, clearing and cleaning your soul and your spirit from the inside. And just with every breath, release that thick, dark smoke, taking with it any worries, fears, or concerns, mental busyness, physical ailments. And then on your next inhalation, I want you to imagine inhaling golden radiant light through the crown of your head. And with it, encouragement, inspiration, motivation, focus, love, confidence, and peace. And just feel that come into your body through the crown of the head. On every breath, inhaling that golden radiant light, bringing with it abundance and prosperity, self-love, joy, motivation, focus, physical wellness, clarity. Just breathe that all in from the crown of the head into the center of your heart. Let that light emanate through your body. On every exhalation, continue to exhale any remnants of that thick, dark smoke, any worries, fears, or concerns. Any physical ailments, any mental busyness. Just watch that leave the body in the aspect of thick, dark smoke. If you find your mind wandering at all, just gently redirect it to the breath, to the visualization with love, as if you were talking to a cherished child or someone that you love. Go ahead and cycle through those breaths for a few more moments here. Inhaling that beautiful radiant light through the crown of the head, bringing with it motivation, encouragement, inspiration, abundance, wellness, confidence, resilience, peace. Inhale all of that in and exhale those worries, fears, concerns, self-doubt, lack of focus, mental busyness. Let all of that go. We'll do a few breaths on your own here. You might notice after a while that that dark smoke isn't so dark. It might even become completely clear. And let your body fill with that golden radiant light. You might fill with light so much so that you yourself emanate this beautiful light. And anyone who comes near you is in the presence of that beautiful, glowing, radiant light. Take a few moments here, just enjoy that feeling of peace, that feeling of lightness, that knowing that you can radiate your light. Enjoy a couple more moments. And then when you're ready, you can gradually release your concentration. If your eyes are closed, open them slowly. And we'll come back into our normal state of awareness. And hopefully you have something nearby that you can write with, or you can even use your phone or an electronic device. So what I'd like you to do, and if you need to take a minute to grab something, it's fine. I'm going to put the timer on for, let's see, we'll do about 3 minutes. And what I'd like you to do is capture your experience with that meditation. It's a wonderful practice to journal after meditation because so many times we have these aha or special experiences, and we won't remember them if we don't write them down. And then sometimes it's hard to get into the habit of meditation. And when you have something written about how good you felt or um, what was uncovered, it will encourage you the next time that you want to sit down. I'm going to put a couple questions in the chat and I'll start the timer because I'm going to ask you not just about the meditation experience, but how it relates to your one word intention for the new month and if you find any thread between the two. So putting the timer on for 3 minutes and I will put it in the chat. All right, so that was 3 minutes, and hopefully that was enough time for you to capture your experience there. I took time to capture my experience because even when I'm teaching, I always go into my zone as well. So I guess I get a lot of the same benefits that you guys get from being guided. So we're going to go into breath work. And breath work has, I mean, there's so many different types, but depending on what type you choose, it helps to calm the nervous system. It can calm you during anything that you might be experiencing normally throughout your day. And also, depending on the work we do, it helps bring oxygen into the body. So I want us to start first with a three-part breath, which can also be referred to as a complete yogic breath. Getting a lot of light on me right now, but it's kind of it's kind of cool. um, so what we're gonna do is first, I just want you to put your hands on your belly. I see a comment in the chat. Oh, yes, yes. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So it says the meditation was what I needed at this very moment. It actually helped me remove the mental clutter that I was having this morning and get more clear. Thank you so much for that comment. I really appreciate that feedback. Um, so yeah, let's get more clear. So put your hands on your belly, and we are going to just start to breathe. You know, it's a funny thing that I learned when I was in yoga teacher training back in 2019. And as you listen, you can just inhale, let your belly fill, and exhale, bring it back to the spine. You bring the belly button back to the spine. Um, but what I learned is that for most of us, at some point in our childhood, somebody yelled at us or scolded us, and we held our breath. We went, so it could have been, um, people talk about the cookie in the cookie jar or something that you were supposed to take that maybe your parents didn't want you to take. And they saw you and they said, don't do that. And you went, and then it kind of becomes this thing where stress makes us hold our breath. I know with my daughter, she would sometimes say to me, like if I was working really intently on something, she'd say, Mom, you're not breathing. And I'd say, oh, you know. So it's a funny thing that we can actually not breathe. So we're going to be really conscious with our breath here. So keep your hands on your belly. If you've been listening, you should be inhaling, letting the belly fill, exhaling, bringing it back to the spine. Now we're going to do a two-part breath, working our way up to three parts. So inhale halfway, let the belly fill, and then inhale the other half of the way. You can take your hands to the sides of your rib cage here. You're going to fill up the rest of the way, and then you're going to exhale, bring the belly button back to the spine. So let's try that a couple more times. Inhale half, do the other half at the rib cage, and then exhale, belly button back to the spine. Three parts. We'll put them together now. So you're going to inhale a third, let the belly fill. Inhale another third to the rib cage, and then inhale the final third to the clavicle. And then exhale, let the belly button go back to the spine. So try that three-part breath on your own. Inhale to the belly. You can use your hands to get the feel of it, and then belly to the spine. Once you feel like you have it, you don't have to use the hands anymore. And I'm going to put the timer on here for, we could do this for 2 minutes. So remember, you're breathing into the belly, then into the rib cage, then into the chest, clavicle, and then exhale to the spine. And your breath can be all through the nostrils. So try that out for 2 minutes. You're a little more than halfway through. Breath work can be hard, so just keep going. All right, that was 2 minutes. So go ahead and rest. Go back to your regular breath. And then from here, the next 2 minutes, we're going to go into box breathing. So box breathing normally has a 4 count, and they call it a box because it's got 4 sides. So what we're going to do is inhale to the count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. We'll hold the breath at the top to a count of 4. So hold, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll exhale to the count of 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to hold the breath at the bottom in that exhalation to the count of 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. So I'll talk you through the first couple of times, and then I'll leave you on your own for the 2 minutes, starting the timer now. Okay, so we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it at the top, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it at the bottom, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And then continue on your own. All right, that was 2 minutes. And let's just take a minute to just write down our experience on paper or journal, whatever you have there. What was the experience like for you with the 4 minutes of breath work that we just did? I'm setting the timer for a minute so you can jot something down. All right, so that was a minute. So now we're going to get into our mindset lesson for the month ahead. Um, Last month, I talked about my book, The Anger Myth, and Anger's Seven Cranky Cousins, which I teach in the book: disappointment, annoyance, frustration, jealousy, impatience, guilt, and resentment. So if you didn't see the last session, just know those are all subtle versions of anger. And if you spend a lot of time with them, they get in the way of you doing the things that you want to do and accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So they take your time, they take your money, they take your creativity, they take your joy. I encourage you to get the book if you want to learn more about it. Um, in the book, I teach a 5-step tame and reframe solution to help you transform those emotions without acting out and without repressing them. I'm going to read a little passage from the book about repressing anger, and then we're going to go into just a quick review of the first 3 steps, and we'll talk a little bit about the 4th step before we go into our next exercise. So this is from chapter 3, page 37, and it says why ignoring and repressing anger don't work. And reframing and repressing are 2 different things. Isn't it unhealthy to repress anger? Don't you have to let it out? I'm not repressing my anger. That's not good for you. These are some of the most common remarks I hear about anger. Do any of them sound like something you might say? The fact is, most people don't know the difference between learning to get rid of anger and repressing it. The real freedom comes when the things that used to make you angry simply don't bother you anymore. This doesn't mean that you suddenly become a doormat with no feelings or boundaries. It means that by acknowledging your anger and learning to quickly and gracefully transform it into either constructive action or peace, you experience little to no anger in your life. It may sound far-fetched, but it is possible with a little bit of time and attention. Before we get into how magical it will be when you open yourself up to an anger-free world, I want to explain why it's so important to acknowledge and process your anger instead of repressing it. According to the National Institutes of Health, both expressing and repressing anger can have negative effects on cardiovascular health. This makes sense when you think about it. You probably remember a time when you got so angry you broke something. Yeah, that would have been me. Got into a heated argument, or even had a physical altercation with someone. Maybe you tried to hold your anger in and ended up with a headache, body aches, or even chest pains. You may have been told to redirect your anger to a pillow, a punching bag, or even strenuous exercise. Why this physical release may temporarily redirect your anger, when you're finished punching the pillow, doing a few rounds at the gym with a speed bag, or running a marathon, you will find that the same unresolved emotions are there. You and your emotions might be a little exhausted, but after a couple good nights rest, the same problem will arise again. The reality is that you never learned to deal with the issue that caused your anger in the first place. Instead of expressing or repressing it, learning to reframe your anger is the path to clarity, peace, and action. Who wrote this book? She's a smart girl. Anyway, I hope you guys will look for your copy of The Anger Myth. And I am working on the audio version, so I will let you guys know when that's going to be available as well. So in the book, we talk about this 5-step tame and reframe approach to transform anger. The first thing is not to repress it, not to pretend nothing happened. So it spells the word anger. So first step is acknowledge your anger. Just be okay with it. You feel what you feel. Second step, notice your breath. We already did breath work exercises today, but generally speaking, it means just take a breath when you get that feeling. Third, gear up your imagination. That's where you try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You work on building empathy and building your imagination. You can learn more about that in the previous session, which you can find on the YouTube channel. But today I want to talk about step 4. So that's where we take action. And in the book, I teach the 4 E's, which are really our choices of what kind of action we're going to take depending on what kind of anger we're dealing with. And the four E's are first either entertain yourself, educate yourself, or enlighten yourself. So an example I use a lot of times is, traffic. There are people out here killing each other over road rage, right? But you don't want to be one of them. So say somebody cuts you off, there's really nothing for you to do except calm yourself down. So you would entertain yourself. You could listen to a podcast, listen to music, phone a friend, whatever that is. But that doesn't work with everything. You know, um, if it's a larger issue, like right now we're in election season, it may be something where you need to get educated on a topic in order to know what action to take. So that's where education comes in. Um, and of course, this is after you've already done the step where you generate some empathy for whatever it is that is bothering you. Typically, it's a person, sometimes it's a situation. Um, an example that I've used with that, which is a non-person. Sometimes we get frustrated because our computer might be doing things, maybe it's shutting down or running slow or whatever. You can actually get empathy for your computer, which is funny now that we have artificial intelligence. Our computers are getting more and more like real people. But you might say, gosh, I got too many windows open. Maybe I need to close some windows down. Maybe I need to reboot my device. Maybe I need to run scanware or run virus protection. So that could be the action that you take based on that empathy and education. The third E is enlighten yourself. Some problems are so big that your action is not going to resolve it. It's just not. So if it is, for example, there's genocide and war going on around the world, there's all kinds of brutality, there's hunger, um, just atrocities going on. And you might say, well, I'll get educated and I'll donate some money to something. And that's great. Or I'll get educated and I'll volunteer with something, which is wonderful. But there's still a lack of resolution, right? You're not going to be able to completely get rid of racism and sexism and all the things. So that's where enlightenment comes in. And whatever spiritual path you choose for yourself, I mean, it could be as simple as being in nature, it could be Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, path. It could be your own spiritual journey. It could be a shamanic path. Um, it could be yoga. It could be, your secret sauce that you've created. But having some spiritual enlightenment that you seek that allows you to process when things are not going the way you want them to go, because that's what anger really is. Anger comes when things don't happen the way that we want them to do. Left up to me, there would be no world hunger, there would be no genocide, there would be no multiple billionaires at the same time that we have people starving. It makes no sense to me. So that is today's lesson. Step 4 is the 3 E's to take action. So either entertain yourself, educate yourself, or enlighten yourself. So from here, we're going to go into our final journaling exercise. And I think I can grab these questions and put them in the chat. Let me find them here. And we're going to have, do we have time for 5 minutes? I think that I might do a little less than 5 minutes. But here, let me put these in here. All right. And I also give you examples of how to set your goals for the upcoming month. So let me just review that as well. But I'm putting everything in the chat. Okay. So you have it in the chat. So based on our conversation, you're going to journal your answers to these questions and I'll read them. So the first one is, how do you normally respond when you get angry? Do you yell? Do you shut down? Do you feel guilty about your emotions? Um, do you think you have a healthy or an unhealthy way of regulating your anger or frustration, those 7 cranky cousins? How does anger make you feel? Does it make you feel empowered or out of control? One of the things that I found is many times anger makes us feel like we are the business, like we feel empowered at the same time that we are destroying our lives. It's very sneaky. Um, and then the next question, what do you think you lose when you spend too much time with the cranky cousins, with the disappointment, the annoyance, the frustration, the jealousy, the impatience, the guilt, and the resentment? And then the last part, and this is the part where we set our goals. So I want you to set at least one, maybe two, but one is perfectly fine, smart mindset goal for the upcoming month. And they should align ideally with the intention that you set. Right. So my intention was focus. So I'm going to look at a goal that aligns with focus for the upcoming month. And I put a couple of examples here to help you out. So the first one, well, the SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Well, we know we're going basically 30 days into the month, or today's the third, so 28 days or whatever. So we know the timing for it, that it's taking place across the month. So that's easy enough to do. But you do want it to be measurable, attainable, and relevant. So my example here is when I feel frustrated or impatient, I'll stop, take a few long breaths, and remember the long journeys of other successful entrepreneurs. Because if you were in the entrepreneur space, we get into the space and we want it all to happen today when my mentors have been doing this for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And the other example I gave is this is not so much for me, but an example if you say, I know I get angry and then I feel guilty when I don't get enough sleep. Like sometimes if we don't sleep enough, we're cranky, right? So maybe the goal for this person might be to set their sleep routine. So they go to bed at a certain time and they wake up at a certain time. So that would be their goal for the month. So enough of me talking. I'm going to give 4 minutes so that you can work on those questions. Okay, that was 3 minutes. I'm sorry, that was 4 minutes. So we're done with that. And we're just gonna close out with some tapping because I love tapping, and then we'll take a few breaths together. And and that's it. Hopefully I will see you in our next session. So tapping is just, oh gosh, it's just a wonderful way to bring energy to you. So what I want you to do is I'm gonna show you my hands here. I'm right-handed, so I will start with my right hand. And you're gonna take the four fingers on your right hand and tap this kind of fleshy piece under the pinky on the left hand. So just tap here. We're gonna hit on some acupressure points and bring some beautiful energy into our body. And it only takes a couple minutes. You can do it again as often as you like. This video will be on YouTube, so you can come back to it. Tap, tap, tap. And we're gonna take the two fingers to the bony part at the inside of the eyebrow here. And then this is a good time to think about what's bothering you. So if it's money issues, if it's confidence issues, you feel unfocused, whatever it is that's bothering you, just bring your awareness to it. Then we're going to take the fingers outside here, tap, 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 thinking about that thing that you worry about. So usually we try not to think about the things we worry about, but I want you to bring it to the surface here, because as we're tapping these parts of our body, we're sending a message to our body that we're very safe. So it creates a nice balance. Go underneath the eyes here. No matter what this thing is that's bothering me, it's okay. I'm safe in my body. Underneath the lip here, I'm safe in my body. Then we're going to go under the right armpit and tap. Safe in my body. All fingers to the chest, clavicle, safe in my body. Tap, tap, tap. All the fingers to the crown of the head. I'm safe in my body. All right, and we're going to do a little faster just on the other side. Love the way this feels. Okay, so this time left hand to the right. Tap, tap, tap. Don't forget to breathe. Two fingers inside of the eyebrow, outside of the eyebrow. Bony part under the eyes. So I'm going to take the left fingertips under the nose, under the lip, right hand under the left armpit, all the fingers to the chest, the clavicle. Ooh, letting your body know you're safe, moving that energy around, fingertips to the crown of the head. And let's let that go. Take a breath. This always makes me feel so tingly and awake and wonderful. I hope you experience the same feeling. And then go ahead, let's rub our palms together. Take the right hand to the heart, left hand to the belly. Inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. Again, inhale. Exhale. This last time we're going to hold it a little longer. Inhale through the nose. Let the belly fill. Hold it at the top. Hold it. Hold that breath and release it. Before you leave, you can give one word for how you're feeling now. I know I started off content myself, and now I just feel kind of, oh, I feel so energized and sparkly. So if you wanted to put one word in the chat for how you're feeling now, that would be great. And want to honor the hour. So thank you for coming to the Mind Blowing Happiness Circle. I look forward to seeing you next time.